From NBC News, Decision 2008, Election Night.
9 p.m. We've been at this for 2 hours. Storylines are starting to emerge, specifically a storyline favoring Barack Obama in the early march of the electoral states. We have more. Let's go to the boards, beginning in the state of Michigan. So hard hit by this economy, 17 electoral votes go to Barack Obama. Minnesota, where we're also closely watching a Senate race tonight, goes to Barack Obama. No surprise there, nor is it in Wisconsin. Nor is it a surprise that the Empire State, New York, goes to Barack Obama. Ditto to the east, as you see the plaza. Local reaction, we call it. The folks on the plaza reacting to their state in the Democratic column. The state of Rhode Island will go to the Barack Obama side of the ledger tonight. Kansas for McCain, followed by North Dakota for John McCain, followed by Wyoming for John McCain. Tonight, this may be a scary bellwether for the McCain campaign. His home state, the state of Arizona, based on what we know, based on the data we have, is still at this hour too close to call in the presidential race. And the state of Colorado, too early to call. Remember the distinction. Too early, not enough data in. Too close means the data we have in isn't separated by enough to make a call. There's the electoral map. The march to 270. 175-70 is where it stands now. Tom Brokaw, where does this put tonight's narrative?
Well, it puts it pretty much where we thought it would be. We have to wait for these key states still to come in. Florida, Ohio, that's important. Colorado is still too close to call. Arizona will surprise a lot of people. It's the senator's home state. It's a very popular Democratic governor. And don't forget how many Hispanic voters are down there. And there are a lot of them. And all the indications are that they turned out. John McCain didn't make much of an investment in Arizona, with good reason. But that's the part that we don't know about. So the map is taking shape now the way that we thought it would up to this point, but it's those big states that we have to worry about. Now, let me just repeat this as we have all night long. The economy is a big factor. In Michigan, they've got the highest unemployment rate in the country, 8.9%. Ohio is right next to them, so is that a pattern that we'll see later on? Minnesota has a high unemployment rate. Minnesota was the host state for the Republican National Convention. Didn't do them much good. They were pretty much confined to St. Paul while they were there, and I don't think the Minnesotans felt they got much of a bump out of having the Republicans in the state.
That's right. And what we've seen in the exit polls as we watch these new states get awarded out on the rink, what the economy has done to suppress the war in Iraq as an issue of great importance to the voting public this year. Absolutely extraordinary. One more note here on the state of Colorado. We called it too early to call, and it is. But the asterisk is that right now, leading Obama. Speaking of the polling business, we are very fortunate to have a veteran, often been called the very best in the business. Peter Hart has often identified as a Democratic pollster. He's one part of the bipartisan polling team for this network, the NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. Peter, you've been watching this tonight. You've been watching it for months. If you had to pick three narratives, three storylines, three headlines so far tonight, what would they be?
Oh, I mean, this is a great drama. I mean, we're only at Act 3. Just think of where we are. I mean, number one has to be the turnout story. This is a transformational election. Voters are more involved, and we may have a turnout that equals the 1960 participation. Second story has to be about youth and minorities. Again, very much involved in this election, and they are changing the map, and we're seeing it in Colorado and in all of the other states that you've been going through. And the third story is the story Tom just talked about, the economy. The economy has eclipsed everything else. Pennsylvania was supposed to be close. It doesn't look close. Ohio, we haven't called, but that's always been the Republican hold state.
That's right.
There doesn't look good for them when the economy is central. So this election is turning very different than we thought at the start of this year.
All right. This is why we have you of counsel. This is why we'll be calling on you throughout the evening. Kevin Tibble standing by in Grant Park, which we keep calling the largest outdoor or indoor gathering in this country. Win or lose tonight, Kevin, are you getting crowd estimates from the Chicago PD?
Well, Brian, as you know, people in Chicago are proud to say that Grant Park is this city's front yard, and tonight no one's saying stay off the grass. I got to tell you that there's a family atmosphere. It's a carnival atmosphere. People are selling T-shirts and buttons. There are all kinds of kids here in the crowd. There are a lot of elderly people here in the crowd, and I've got to tell you, it's got the atmosphere more of a rock concert, perhaps Woodstock for some of us, perhaps Lollapalooza for others here. As you know, 70,000 people received a ticket like this in the internet that they printed off and brought to get in here tonight. 70,000 on the inside, which is where I am. Mayor Daley essentially invited everyone downtown. He's a big Democrat. He thinks that Barack Obama is going to win. Some estimates are that as many as 1 million people could come downtown tonight. No police officers have been given the day off. And at this point in time, as I said earlier, it's a carnival atmosphere. It's a happy atmosphere. And Brian, every time you folks make an announcement, a big roar comes up in the crowd here. Brian, back to you.
So we've noticed, Kevin. I wonder who they're for. By the way, we've had a few emails. Why aren't we showing a commensurate gathering for John McCain? The simple reason he's tonight's McCain gathering is at the very quiet, very private Arizona Biltmore Hotel just outside Phoenix. It is, again, an invite-only crowd, not open to the public, as the big public party is in Grant Park tonight in Chicago. There you see the state of things at the McCain headquarters. Tom Brokaw, you had a point on that.
That is a back-to-the-future moment for me. 40 years ago, I was in Grant Park at the Democratic National Convention when the party came apart. Didn't come together. It came apart. In the streets of Chicago, coming out of Grant Park, the anti-war protesters confronted by a lot of Democrats who wore blue uniforms. They were policemen who were loyal to Richard Daley. At that time, the Daley family was thought to be history in Democratic Party politics. Now Rich Daley is the sixth-term mayor of the city of Chicago. His brother is a principal advisor to Barack Obama. And Grant Park, which was the staging ground, now is a point of celebration with a lot of young people who are backing an African American at the head of the Democratic ticket. It's the great drama of American politics, and it's why it's endlessly fascinating to keep track of these kinds of things. However it turns out tonight.
Senator Ribicoff from Connecticut said it was Gestapo tactics in the streets of Chicago that angry summer, gave us the phrase, "the whole world is watching." And tonight that expression is now also true for a different set of reasons. Here's a call. Arkansas, in the race for president, has been awarded on the electoral map to John McCain. We pan left, as we've learned by now, on the pursuit of 270 board. It's 175-76 Obama. We'll take a break. More states, more calls when we continue.
Two simple words, one powerful hour. The season premiere of Law and Order. Tomorrow, 10/9 Central on NBC.
10 minutes after 9 in the East. There were no calls while we were away on the break, but we've had a couple of friends and guests arrive here to help us talk about just what it is we think we are covering tonight by way of storylines. Governor Patterson is here with us, the governor of the state of New York, which was over the last few minutes awarded to Barack Obama. David Patterson, the first African-American governor of the state of New York. Thank you for being with us. First of all, Governor, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Brian.
What do you think we're covering here tonight?
I think we're covering history, and it's a great moment for America, and not just in the African-American community. When you think about it, young people who first got the right to vote in 1972 have never turned out in the unprecedented number that they did this evening. And it's really saying that even though we have a downturn in the economy, those young people voted on hope. And they didn't vote out of fear. They voted out of hope. So when we think that this country, whose founding constitution included Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, the provision that allowed for slavery, now a descendant of those who enslaved and those who were slaves becomes the president of the United States, it has to make people from all walks of life feel that their opportunity to be successful in this land was enhanced a little more this evening. Even people who voted for Senator McCain would have to feel that way as well.
As I sit here and remind everybody that we're still voting, we're still counting. The math isn't there. The board of 270 is not yet complete. when you look at the challenges that will await the victor tonight, a very simple question: is Barack Obama up to the towering list of challenges? Start with the economy. End there. It's enough to stagger some very capable individuals.
I think he's already started. The last time our economy was in such recession was at the time of the Great Depression itself. And after all the programs, all the policies, and all of the laws that were enacted under President Roosevelt, what do we remember most about him? All we have to fear is fear itself. In other words, he set a tone. He was the symbolic leader, challenging all of us to fight back. And I think the turnouts, the number of people who've been excited, the 140 million people who may have voted today, this is attributed to the Obama factor, whether you voted for him or against him. But he's enthusiastic, he's strong, he's quite an intellect, and I think that we will see, almost like with a Henry V, him grow in his administration, which every great president has.
Governor, as I say in the airline business, we know you have other choices and other people vying for your time tonight, and we sure appreciate
I
that
wanted to be here, Brian.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and we sure appreciate the fact that you came in here tonight on a busy night for you. We have another guest here with us, and he is the former mayor of the city of New York. Mr. Mayor,
Hi,
thank
Brian.
you.
How are you?
I guess this was completely accidental on my right and on my left. Mr. Mayor, I got a quote here from an aide to John McCain out in Arizona, and the quote is very simple. At this point, we need a miracle. You know, I was thinking earlier tonight that just really not that many months ago, every pundit worth their salt was telling us that tonight we were going to cover a Giuliani versus Hillary Clinton
That was a
race
long
for the
time
presidency.
ago. That was about a year
Wasn't
ago.
all that long ago in the scope of American history.
See what the pundits know?
Here we are right now. The home state of your nominee is considered too close to call. You've already lost some big ones, some precious states. The must-win Pennsylvania's gone the other way. What do you think midway here is happening to your party tonight?
Well, you know, I'm a very big supporter of John McCain's. You know, when I was running, I said if I wasn't running, I'd be supporting John McCain, which is kind of an unusual thing for an opponent to say, because I have tremendous admiration for him. He's a heroic American, and he's the person I think we need in the White House. But the American people are going to decide that. And I think David is correct. Either way, this is a historic election. If it happens in the way David suggests and hopes, then we've achieved history tonight. And we've moved beyond something that has plagued this country from the very beginning, the whole idea of race and racial separation and unfairness. If we elect John McCain and Sarah Palin, we get a woman vice president for the first time in history, something we've never been able to achieve. So in either case, we've got, and maybe the mere fact that both of them are on the ticket is a wonderful accomplishment for this country.
And if it goes the other way and we elect Barack Obama tonight, could you see yourself being content with Barack Obama going up against this economic monster, a locomotive that is coming after Republican office holders tonight?
You know what happens tomorrow morning when this is all over, or tomorrow afternoon, or wherever, or tonight? We all become Americans, and we support Barack Obama or John McCain 100%, because if they fail, we fail. So you know that's one of the things that Americans are great. We better be great at it. We are facing tremendous challenges, and we've got to do it in a bipartisan way. Either man is elected, either ticket is elected. We've got to be all supporting them.
Some terrible things were said during this campaign.
Hey, that was also true in 1800, and it was true. It was true when Abraham Lincoln ran, and it was true. All that unfortunately, our politics gets nasty like that. This one was supposed to be different. It wasn't, but let's make sure the transition is different.
Mr. Mayor, same thanks to you.
Thank you.
Governor, thanks to you on our other side.
Thank you, Brian.
And to you at 9:16 p.m. with more states to come. The 270 map incomplete, our storyline incomplete, but emerging. We'll take a break. We're back with more coverage from New York and elsewhere right after this.
Monday, an all-new episode that takes you back.
There's something you should know about me.
Before they were heroes.
Peter, I have to protect you.
Before they were villains.
I have a power.
See how it all began.
Time to choose a side, Dad.
New Heroes returns Monday night, 8 Central on NBC.
More numbers coming in, 9:18 p.m. here in the East. Interesting national race, the pursuit of 270. But let's talk about some Senate races just projected by NBC News. Roberts returns to the Senate from the Sunflower State of Kansas. In Michigan, Levin for the Democrats, part of the brothers Levin in politics. Talk about a family name in politics in the American West. Tom Udall will represent New Mexico in the U.S. Senate. Jack Reed, a well-known veteran, one of the people who accompanied Barack Obama on his foreign trip, Persian Gulf, goes back to the Senate from Rhode Island. Tim Johnson, interesting story, suffered a debilitating stroke, believed to have, his mental abilities back, but still physical, great challenges, walks with assistance still. More on that in a bit. Let's call this Wyoming 1 and Wyoming 2. Both Senate seats tonight. Enzi in the first, Barrasso in the second. So again, Wyoming, the Senate race divided. We pan to the right for a look at the new Senate. Democrats +4, 50-34. That's a net gain of 4 going into tonight. Covering the Senate and House, Andrea Mitchell, the lead story there.
Well, first of all, the heart-rending story is Tim Johnson. Bob Casey, the senator from Pennsylvania, and Teddy Kennedy both came to his aid with money, with support, with medical assistance, all through his campaign to make sure that he got reelected. But the Udall cousins, now Colorado not yet called Mark Udall, son of Mo Udall, but this is Stuart Udall, former Interior Secretary's son, and first cousins. And New Mexico, you're seeing a move towards the west. What we've got coming up, of course, in Tom Brokaw's part of the country, is what may be happening if this does turn out to be a transformational election and the West turning blue.
There's another Udall cousin out there, and that's Gordon Smith in Oregon, who's said to be in trouble. He's the Republican.
Exactly.
So you could have conceivably 3 members of the Udall family, big Mormon family, but the indications were that Gordon Smith would be in some trouble. I saw Tim Johnson just last week out in South Dakota, and all the cognitive skills are there, and there's an enormous sympathy factor for him. But he does struggle walking, obviously. He has one of those electronic carts, and his speech is not impaired, but it is slowed considerably. And so he has this great line. He says, in Washington, where I work most of the time, most people speak without thinking. I have to think before I speak.
And when Andrea says Tom Brokaw's part of the country, just how much are we claiming these days? We've got native South Dakota, adopted Montana, New York, Washington for Meet the Press.
Sea to shining sea.
All good states.
Yeah, right.
It's really a lot of real estate when you think about it. Almost too much for any one man. Let's take a look at the map to 270 one more time here, because it, after all, is the story we're following tonight. And again, you see there the reds and blues. Among the big states we're watching, the battleground states, Colorado, too close to call out west, leaning Obama, and Arizona, home state of John McCain, at last report, too close to call. Pennsylvania, the big one that fell early for Barack Obama. We're watching a slew of them, battleground states. Ohio, Indiana, Virginia, North Carolina, where a big Senate race went against Elizabeth Dole tonight. So as we come up, more coverage tonight, we're going to be drilling down into these numbers with Chuck Todd, and we're into the part of the evening where we're going to be getting calls spur of the moment. Ann Curry, we're going to be looking at, are the young people coming out tonight, as we continue Decision 08 from New York.
This is an NBC6 HD Decision 2008 update.
Good evening, everyone. The polls have been closed just over 2 hours now, and the numbers keep coming into the NBC6 newsroom.
So let's get started by showing you where Florida stands in the all-important presidential race, with 50% of the precincts now reporting still very close. Barack Obama with a 51% to 48% edge over John McCain.
Of course, this is the battleground state. Both of the senators want to claim victory in the Sunshine State. As you can see, with 50% of the precincts reporting, it is still too close to call. But in terms of the electoral votes right now, Senator Obama has 175 nationwide, and Senator McCain has 76.
Let's now go to the
Right now, NBC is reporting, we are being told right now that NBC is reporting that the state of Ohio, another one of the battleground states, has gone to Senator Barack Obama. Once again, NBC has called the state of Ohio to Senator Barack Obama.
All right, let's go to U.S. House District 18 here in our state of Florida with Ileana Ross-Leighton, the incumbent, leading newcomer Annette Taddeo, 57% to 43%. Again, this is with 24% of the precincts reporting. Evan Bacon is covering both candidates. He joins us now live.
No, we're going to go to the next district right now. I believe we're going to go to Lincoln Diaz-Balart. No, actually, Mario Diaz-Balart. This is District 25. Incumbent Mario Diaz-Balart has 51% with 17% of the precincts reporting, and Joe Garcia, attorney here in South Florida, with 49%.
All right, let's go to U.S. House District 21, and this has to be by far the most contentious race, and some are saying the nastiest race in the entire country. Again, this is District 21 for the U.S. House, where Lincoln Diaz-Balart now has a 56% to 44% lead over former Hialeah Mayor Raul Martinez. Again, this is with 11% of the precincts reporting. And for those of you who have been watching these political ads, both of these men have been going at each other with just negative ads throughout the entire campaign.
Let's go now to Broward County and the all-important BSO sheriff. Right now, Al Lamberti right now is in a very close race. Let's go to Adam Cooperstein.
Hey guys, yeah, that race a lot closer than the presidential race here in Broward County so far, but it's very early. In fact, only 149 precincts out of 786 have reported. Most of the votes that have come in, most of the ballots that have been counted have been from early voting. The totals right now, Barack Obama was 72.8% of the vote. John McCain, 26.7%, and that's with a 40% voter turnout. But just so you know, about 35% of that was early voting plus absentee ballots. So still early as far as the precincts go. All that information is getting ready to come to us. So it's quiet here at the moment right now. Things are about to heat up because all the polls closed just before 9 o'clock. 100% of polls in Broward County closed. That information goes to 12 regional sites. Then it comes here via a modem, and it's all tabulated right here behind me. So as soon as we get that information, we'll bring it to you. But basically the key is it's very early right now in Broward County to make any assumptions. Here at the Voting Equipment Center in Lauderhill, I'm Adam Cooperstein for NBC6.
All right, Adam, thank you. You know, this election is historic not only because of the candidates, but also because of the role that the internet has played.
It really has, and NBC6.net is the place to go for everything elections. Julia Yarbo joins us live with more from there.
You know, tonight, guys, we have all the bases covered this election night on NBC6.net, a comprehensive view of all the races, the results, analysis, and we're hearing from you as well on our Election Day experiences. Now, an exciting new feature that you'll find on our website, it's very easy to check out. When you go to the homepage on NBC6.net, you're just going to click on real-time results. You'll find that up in the upper right-hand corner. It gives you a national map, which is going to break down each of the state's electoral votes, and it shows you real-time results of where your candidate stands at any given moment. Those results throughout the night, we've all been clicking on it throughout the evening so that you can watch, follow along, see how the states are shaping up, see how that race to 270 electoral votes is going for each of your candidates. Also, on our main homepage, NBC6.net, if you want to keep up to date on all the local Florida races, you just click on a pull-down menu. That'll give you all of the races, the amendments, the candidates, and again, real-time information as we get those numbers coming in. So remember, we want to hear from you as well. We want to know what's going on with your Election Day experiences. Just email us at interactive@NBC6.net. Tony, Jackie.
Julia, thank you. Now back to U.S. House District 18. For the first time in a long time, Ileana Ross-Leighton has faced some competition.
NBC6's Evan Bacon is covering both candidates. He joins us live from Coral Gables with more on this race. Evan?
A tremende victoria. Those are the words of Ileana Ross-Leighton just a few seconds ago as she addressed this crowd here. It's not over yet, but the numbers look very good for her. You can see this whole group of people here celebrating what they hope is a victory very shortly. Ileana Ross-Leighton, one of the first people here tonight, making sure everyone was fed, announcing many of the results throughout the night herself, and the results keep coming in. She's got a solid 56-57% lead. She hopes to hold it. We're live right now in Coral Gables. Evan Bacon, NBC6.
All right, Evan, thank you. As we return to NBC network coverage of Decision 2008, here's another look at the states that NBC News so far has called.
Well, as we mentioned, Ohio, NBC News has called Ohio for Senator Barack Obama. Once again, you're looking at a live picture of the White House in Washington, D.C. We'll have another update in 20 minutes.
Acura, proud supporter of NBC6 election coverage. NBC News, Decision 2008, Election Night.
We're back, and here's a big one. In Barack Obama's pursuit of the presidency tonight, this is a big headline to come on the air with at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The state of Ohio, and can you name one that was fought over with more force? 20 electoral votes. You know the expression on the other side, no Republicans won the White House without winning Ohio. Tonight it has been projected as Obama country. As predicted, Louisiana stays red for John McCain. We got a Senate race there we are watching tonight. Now, this begins a series of big states too close to call. Indiana, still counting up the Hoosier vote there. Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia, a very crucial state. Some say the bellwether to the whole ball of wax the whole night. North Carolina, Florida as well. Another big one. Kerry Sanders walked us through the voting methods tonight, and they're counting. And Missouri, those battleground states I just mentioned, 77 electoral votes among them. And as we look at the pursuit of 270, look where suddenly Barack Obama is with that call of Ohio at 9:30. It's lopsided now, 200 to 85. Before we go to Chuck Todd on the path to the presidency, let's delve into the Senate. Oh, here we have a new projection. New Mexico President Barack Obama. That just came in. So New Mexico out west. And that is a story in itself as far as Democratic achievement in the Southwest. So back we go to the electoral vote. 200 to 85, unbeknownst to us, the 200 already included. Here's one of the headlines for the GOP tonight. Senate Leader Mitch McConnell, they thought they were going down in a hurry, tied to the economic rescue package, the financial trouble. McConnell flew to just about every major population center this past weekend in that state. They were bussing in volunteers. For all I know, they were bussing in money, and he has survived to see another day in the U.S. Senate, as had Cochran from Mississippi tonight. So a lot of changes now. This is starting to be an active half-hour segment for us, and we go to Chuck Todd. Chuck, it's clear the headline of this half hour, the state of Ohio, and talk to us, please, about how this improves the path for Obama and so greatly narrows it now for McCain.
It does. I was talking to you about that iron triangle of political survival: Florida, North Carolina, Ohio. He couldn't afford to have any of them go away from him. Well, Ohio went away from him. And let me show you what this means in our what-if map. You know, if he can hold California, if Obama holds California and Oregon and Washington, the Pacific Rim, where John Kerry did very well 4 years ago. Al Gore carried these states 4 years ago. You see what that does to his number. You saw where that number went up. So all of a sudden, that is why I think you're going to see a lot of cheering, a lot of happy folks sitting in Grant Park. Polls are still open out there, not saying anything, but that, and if you add one other base state, by the way, the home state of Hawaii, these are just base states. These are Democratic base states that a lot of folks were assuming would sit in Obama's column once this night was over. And that's how important Ohio is to Barack Obama right now, Brian.
And Chuck, again, these battlegrounds uncalled. Virginia in the east, yes. North Carolina, the counting continues in Indiana, Florida, Missouri. What incredible pieces of this board yet to be awarded.
It is. I mean, they're very close. I want to dig down in here in North Carolina a little bit and show you which direction this seems to be going. Obviously, you see a very tight race, but this importance of early voting, I want to show you Mecklenburg County, because this is Charlotte, and we only have 5% in, and that's a county that Obama's counting on to be a big county for him. And in fact, that he is still ahead right now, and he doesn't have Mecklenburg in, that's good news for Obama. Wake County, one of the swing counties, Research Triangle, look at this.
A
This
whole
was
lot
a
of
county.
new residents from outside the state.
That's right. This was one that Obama needed to have a big win in. This is normally a swing county. Doesn't look like a swing county, 95%, and you see here, Obama won it by 14 points. So the Obama folks feel very good about the direction of North Carolina. But I'll tell you, Virginia is probably, of all the surprises tonight, is the one, when you looked at all the pre-election polling, including private polls from the Republicans and the Democrats, this was one they were feeling very pessimistic about on the Republican Party, and this thing has stayed tight. But if you're the Obama folks, you like this result right now, and that is the Richmond suburbs. The Richmond suburbs are supposed to be Republican turf. Of late, Democrats have started to do better here. It started with Tim Kaine, who was the mayor of Richmond. He did well in the Richmond suburbs. Well, right now, look, we almost have them all in, and Obama's going to win that county. Now, granted, he had to outperform Kerry in a lot of counties. He was making up 7, 8 points. But this is, looking now, we still have a lot of Northern Virginia out, but this is razor thin in Virginia. Maybe, could be one of those we wait until all the votes counted before we know who wins this one.
And Chuck, I had a Democratic strategist say to me today, depending on the storyline we're covering tonight, how badly do you think we want the old headquarters of the Confederacy to go our way tonight? Chuck Todd, who will keep crunching the numbers, Tom Brokaw on this latest wave of states.
Well, let's cut to the chase here. If everything stays in place as it did 4 years ago, with the pickup of New Mexico and Ohio on the Democratic column, if John Kerry had done that 4 years ago, he'd be president for the last 4 years. Those 25 electoral votes going to John Kerry 4 years ago would have taken him to 276 electoral votes. He only needed 270. It would have taken George Bush down to 261. So at 9:30 tonight, there was a real break in the landscape here with New Mexico, our projected winner, and we fully expect that to hold up, and especially Ohio, with its 20 electoral votes and the second highest unemployment rate in the country. What has changed in 4 years is not just the state of the economy, but in Ohio, they now have a Democratic governor, they have a new Democratic senator, and they feel much more in control of the party apparatus out there, and especially the get out the vote. So at this moment, this is very heartening news for Barack Obama. It's not yet over, but it's tough now for John McCain to find a John Kerry state that he has to pick up, or two, to offset all that.
After that night, Kerry in Ohio, the Democrats were so angry they commissioned a study and found exactly how many Democrats had gone home frustrated, unable to vote. If they would have had them back to the polls, they would have made the difference that night. Of course, they did not. Those are part of the net gains we're seeing on this map as opposed to Kerry last time. We keep talking about this electorate, what's fueling, what's motivating this electorate. Ann Curry's been looking at all the exit polling information for us in our virtual exit polling studio tonight. She's real. The rest of it isn't. More on that in a moment. But Ann, what are the numbers you have for us?
All right. Well, Brian, guess what? You just called Ohio a short time ago. We have some early numbers now on why Obama has won that key state. Our numbers show that Obama won 46% of white working class voters in Ohio. That is more than John Kerry got in 2004, and it's also better than Obama did with this group during the primaries. We also have some significant numbers on whether John McCain's choice of Sarah Palin helped him or hurt him nationwide. Our exit poll found that Republicans in general, conservatives and white evangelicals all feel that Palin is qualified to be president. But looking at all voters nationwide, just 38% think that Palin is qualified to be president, and a whopping 60% said that she is not qualified. If the McCain campaign was hoping to sway Hillary Clinton voters also with the Palin pick, it did not work. Clinton supporters said that Joe Biden was more qualified to be president than Palin, and by a huge margin, Brian, by 82 to 12%. We're still crunching the numbers. More to get back to you, Brian.
All right, and because some viewers weren't with us at the start of the evening, and because we're into transparency here, really truth in advertising,
Exactly.
you're not in some deep under the ground NBC News rotunda at all. Let's take away the magic and show how we're doing this. This is called virtual. She's in a green room, really. It's virtual reality. It's really the Weather Channel writ large with gothic columns, but a heck of a job and a great job at the look at that. It's really
well,
quite
it's
something.
like being being in a video game, Brian, but, you know, whatever it takes to get these numbers to the American people, because, boy, there are a lot of numbers to get through tonight, and they are important.
Well, thank you. And I like you better with the columns and all that. Ann Curry, thanks. We've got a call that just came in at the end of our last segment here, and it is West Virginia. We'll be putting another stretch of red vinyl out on the skating rink. This has been awarded John McCain 5 electoral votes, which brings our map now 200 to 90 as we look at the quest for 270. John McCain has just arrived at the Arizona Biltmore. Sarah Palin's already there. It's where he'll be looking at supporters. We welcomed earlier tonight, and we welcome back a member of our family here around our table, Tavis Smiley. PBS viewers know him as a nightly companion on most PBS stations. But a whole lot of people know you from the State of the Black Union. A whole lot of people know you for something called the Covenant, leading the conversation every year, trying to keep issues out in front of the community every year. What's been absent from the conversation, representation at this level. Do you think that's the storyline we're looking at as this evening grows long?
It's a growing and expanding storyline by the minute, as you well know. There are three things that come to mind quickly. Number one, we now live in the most multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic America ever. And that's something to celebrate. And while the fat lady isn't singing yet, she's warming up. And we may very well wake up tomorrow morning and find ourselves, of course, with an African-American president, which raises for me, Brian, two issues I've been thinking about over the last few minutes, both wrapped around the issue of expectations. Everybody keeps saying tonight that if Obama wins tomorrow or tonight or McCain wins tonight, we all have to come together as Americans tomorrow. I see it differently. I think what this election points out tonight is that Americans, we all want the same thing. And what is that? To live in a nation that is as good as its promise. If Obama can get elected tonight, progressive possibilities for all of us as Americans are going to be unleashed because of this campaign. Secondly, with regard to expectations, it seems to me that Obama or McCain, whoever wins, is going to receive what I call an engagement dividend. They're going to realize an engagement dividend, given all these folk who have engaged themselves in the process this year, record numbers all across the country. An engagement dividend. Here's the question. How does the new president spend that engagement dividend? How do you use that dividend so that it doesn't become a deficit? How do you use the energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement
all
that this
the folks have come into the process?
Exactly. How do you engage them now? How do you spend that dividend? How do you use that surplus so that it doesn't become a deficit?
Is that another name for the blank checks that presidents are awarded? The public goodwill you're saying is this year bolstered by the people who have just said, count me in, I'll knock on doors for whichever campaign,
Absolutely.
But I'm into this because this is a crossroads in our history.
And it raises a real question then of how this next president governs, how the next president sees the role of government. How do we engage these people? Is the president going to drive a hybrid car? Is the president going to put his kids in public school? Is the president going to volunteer his time? You've got everyday people who've been turned on by this process. How do we spend that dividend? It can't be just about a man. It can't be just about symbolism. It's got to be about substance. It can't be just about personality. It's got to be about public policy. How do we keep this energy, enthusiasm, and use it beyond this campaign? Because a whole lot of Americans have been turned on, obviously, by this process. Working white Americans, African Americans, all voting in record numbers, young people. How do we use that dividend?
This changes your talking points the next broadcast you do. It changes whatever the pressure is on the inaugural address for the winner tonight, given the huge and staggering list of problems the country faces. We'll return to the electoral map here as we go to a break again. The pursuit of 270 electoral votes to put the winner over the top tonight. It stands at 200 to 90. Latest state we awarded, West Virginia for John McCain. That's the state of play. We have some enormously important battleground states, all of them still in the too close to call category. This drama, this story is still being written. At 9:43 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll take a break in our coverage. We'll come back from New York right after this.
Wednesday is the new night for justice.
I like the sound of this.
Kit's on the case on a new Knight Rider.
Allow me to drive.
Then the Wednesday premiere of Life.
I want to show you my badge.
Still here.
solving television's most fascinating cases. And the original Wednesday crime drama is back.
Just get me the indictment.
The season premiere of Law & Order.
Justice by other means.
Knight Rider, Life at Law & Order. Wednesday, the new night for justice on NBC.
Back here in New York, you see the colors filling in now on the world-famous skating rink just outside our building here, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, a structure that, by the way, went up. John D. Rockefeller Jr., they questioned his sanity as this thing rose during the economic depression. That's actually what gave us the famous Christmas tree that'll be up in a few weeks. It was an attempt to cheer up the workers during the holiday season. Well, tonight that rink is the home of our electoral map, and while I won't divulge the location, I just realized I left the lights on in my office. But there is the path to 270 in blue and in red, and we've been covering a storyline mostly of some big ones going for Barack Obama in this last hour. This is such an exciting night, of course. It's an election without precedent in so many categories across our country. We thought we would go to members of our team of correspondents and check in across this country. First standing by to talk to us, Ann Thompson. She's in Columbus, Ohio. Let's see. Michelle Kaczynski's in Atlanta at Spelman College. Don Teague, San Antonio. Got my order wrong, but you're all there, led by Ann Thompson in Columbus, a state which was, of course, just awarded to Barack Obama. Ann, good evening to you.
Good evening, Brian. And the Obama people believe they won this state because the economy is the biggest issue here, and also because those wedge issues, God, guns, and gays, they were not on the ballot this time. There were no initiatives as there were in 2004 when there was an initiative to ban gay marriage here in Ohio. As far as voting goes, you remember long lines, lots of problems in 2004. Not this year. Things appear to have gone very, very smoothly. And at this point, there have been no court challenges to what happened today. And so it appears that the changes they made, early voting, more than 1.5 million Ohioans voted early in this election. It made a big difference and helped get people through the precincts very quickly today. Brian?
Ann Thompson in Ohio. To Michelle Kaczynski we go in Atlanta. Michelle.
Gathering at Spelman College for students in all of the historically African-American colleges in the Atlanta area. And the mood has really shifted from one of sort of nervous anticipation to almost celebratory at this point. We've seen high energy dance and musical performances reflecting their heritage, speakers from the civil rights movement, and a lot of students talking about their own histories, members of their family who inspired them and really pushed them to become politically aware and politically active. And they're saying that this support that we're seeing here in Atlanta goes beyond race, of course, that this is about a vision for the country. And the mood is really becoming more and more celebratory and excited as the night goes on, Brian.
Michelle, thanks. And over to Don Teague we go. Don, so much talk tonight about a potentially new and changing American Southwest politically.
Certainly, Brian, the big issue over the last few months coming into this, the Hispanic vote, a big part of the U.S. population, a big part of the Texas population, 3.6 million voters here, and we are expecting that, based on all of the polling, to break toward Barack Obama. Some 70% of Hispanics expected to break that way. We're here at Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio, a Hispanic majority student population here. The people here are all saying the same thing. They're going Barack Obama based on basically health care and the economy, and it's expected to go the way it is here in Texas, in other Hispanic populations across the country. Brian?
Hey, Don, thanks. An exciting night in Texas, as it is in Georgia, as it is in Ohio, and across the nation. Another break here. We'll be back. Our coverage will continue after this. Celebrations tonight in Arizona surrounding the McCain campaign, Grant Park in Chicago, where all the supporters of the Obama campaign are gathering. You see both locations there. In short, we've been thinking all night, along with so many of you, kind of night our buddy Tim Russert would have loved. Our campaign coverage continues here after you get updated on some of your local races. We have a lot to tell you about when we next see you at the top of the hour next. This is Decision 08 from New York.
Well, the polls have been closed for almost 3 hours now in South Florida, and the ballots just keep coming in.
Adam Cooperstein begins our local coverage from Lauderhill. As we just mentioned, Adam, the polls have been closed for quite some time. Any closer to a verdict in Broward County?
No, it's still too early to say right now, although we are more than halfway there. The Broward County election officials have told me they're expecting a voter turnout of around 80%. Right now, we're actually at 50%, with 375 precincts reporting out of the 786 total precincts. The presidential race, the gap has slowly narrowed a little bit. Right now, Barack Obama has 69.88% of the vote compared to 29% for John McCain. That's with a difference of about 200,000 votes. Again, still plenty of votes out there, still many ballots left to be counted. And in that very highly contested race for the Broward County Sheriff's spot, Scott Israel, the Democrat, 51% compared to Alan Bertie, 48% for the Republicans. So that's a very close race. I'm also being told that some of the traditionally Republican precincts are some of the ones that have not been reported yet. So there's still plenty of time, too early to really make any conclusions here from Broward County. Live at Lauderhill at the Voting Equipment Center, I'm Adam Cooperstein for NBC6.
So, Adam, so far it appears to me anyway, and Jackie, listening to you, everything is going pretty smoothly in Broward County. I know a lot of eyes have been focused on Broward and how they were going to handle this election.
Yeah, they've been heavily scrutinized ever since what happened in the year 2000, of course, in that presidential election. So everybody's been very careful here, very hopeful that things would go smoothly. All of the polling sites closed within 2 hours after that 7 o'clock deadline. They were all closed, all the lines were done, and according to officials, no major problems. So that's definitely good news, and hopefully will make for an early night for all the people here who are anxiously awaiting the final results.
At last look, also, Debbie Wasserman Schultz had 80% of the votes, with close to 50% of the precincts reporting.
Well, in Miami-Dade County, Obama fans are gathering there at a party in Jungle Island.
Let's go to Tom Yamas with more from there.
Well, Jackie and Tony, supporters of Obama here at this party are very, very anxious. About 20 minutes ago, when they announced that Ohio had gone for Senator Barack Obama, this place went absolutely nuts. Now they want to know what's going to happen with Florida. They know if Obama wins Florida, then a McCain presidency is virtually impossible. The McCain campaign has gone on the record and said there is no formula for us to win the White House without Florida. So that's what everyone here is waiting for. The Obama campaign invested heavily in the Sunshine State. 500 paid staffers, over 1,600 volunteers. He outspent and out-organized Senator John McCain, spending much more money in TV ads and radio ads. The McCain campaign really wasn't able to keep up. But that said, McCain still was able to keep this a very close race. It still is a close race. So far, Florida has not been able to go either for the Democrats or the Republicans. It's way too close to call. And all the polls up until this point, even with all the money that Obama spent, all the organizing, they were still very, very close. As we know, the last two general elections have gone red. They have gone for Republicans. This time around, Democrats feel much more confident about Florida. The supporters in this room, and there's a lot of local leaders here. This is a who's who, if you will, of local leadership. We have Kathy Fernandez-Rundle, the state attorney in Miami-Dade. Miami Mayor Manny Diaz just gave an inspirational speech as well. And there's several other local leaders who are here in full support of Barack Obama. That's the very latest from Jungle Island. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
We also saw another leader speak at a news conference. Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Alvarez saying that everything went smooth sailing in Miami-Dade County in terms of voting. But right now we're looking at Elizabeth Dole. This is in a live news conference in North Carolina where she is conceding the race right now to challenger State Senator Kay Hagan, the Democrat there in North Carolina.
This is big, big news for the Democrats. As you know, Elizabeth Dole, first elected in 2002 with 54% of the vote. For the first time in a long time, a Dole will not be sitting in the Senate. Again, Elizabeth Dole conceding to Senator Kay Hagan.
Back now to Miami-Dade County, where John McCain's local campaign office is watching closely the results here in this county.
Sharon Lawson is standing by live at Doral. Sharon?
Well, moving into the White House is going to be a challenge for John McCain, but the folks out here say, do not worry. It's not over until it is over. And they're working extremely hard to energize the crowd over here. If you take a look behind me over here, you'll notice that we still have a lot of folks, a lot of the volunteers here, and they're in a festive mood, confident that their phone calls and canvassing the doors actually paid off. They say America is ready for a leader. That leader needs to have experience, and they say that John McCain is the person for that job. Of course, we'll just stay here and wait to see what happens. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Sharon, thank you very much. Another thing Florida voters were voting for today on 6 amendments, starting with the first one.
Important ones, too.
Very important ones.
Major amendments here.
Let's start with the first one, which this one is relating to property rights and ineligible aliens. And right now on Amendment 1, we have 47% who voted yes on that amendment and 53% who voted against it.
And Amendment 2, probably the most controversial one, the Florida Marriage Protection Amendment. Thus far, as you see, with only 1% counted so far, 63% saying yes and 37% saying no.
You know, you can always log on to our website at NBC6.net for the latest election headlines and for live local election results. All you have to do is click on the drop-down menu on the homepage.
We also want to hear about your election experience. Email your thoughts to us at interactive@NBC6.net. As we return you now to the NBC network coverage of Decision 2008, here's another look at the states that NBC News has called so far. We'll have another update for you in 20 minutes.
Acura, proud supporter of NBC6 election coverage.